Hi everyone. Alright, today I am working on a somewhat massive project. This is a 42-inch signboard. See, look, it goes on and on and on and on and on. There we go, got to the end. So, I knocked all my inks over. So, what I am doing with this is, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, our daughter and her husband and son are expecting a new addition to the family. They are having a baby girl in somewhere in the first week of June, hopefully, if she arrives on time. So I'm making a wall sign to go behind her crib. Now what I'm going to do with this is make the background, and then I actually ordered her name, like a wooden name panel that to fit this, that I'll put her name panel on it later whenever it comes, because it'll be another week or two before it actually gets here. So what I'm going to do with this is just do the background. And I have agonized over this forever about how to do this, because I thought about doing big flowers or just doing, you know, a complete blend of different colors, and I finally settled on the blend because she already has a lot of flower things in her room, and so these, I'm going to use these colors because they do match her room and are colors that are in a lot of the other flower things they have in there. So I'll just do the background with this and then her name on top of it. And that way it won't be quite as busy as if I have a whole bunch of little flowers and then, you know, the letters going across it for her name as well. So I know probably none of you even wanted to hear all that, but anyway, there you go. That's why I'm doing this. So a lot of this I will speed up because it's, you know, it's pretty simple. It's mostly just blending, as you'll see, and this is going to take a very long time. So I'm not going to make you all watch this one in real time. I will be using 99% isopropyl alcohol. That's what's in this bottle, the clear liquid. This is the Jacquard Pinata Brass that I'll be using for my metallic. This is not mixed, it's undiluted, no alcohol or anything added to it, just brass straight out of the bottle. I just used the needle nose bottle for ease of application with that. Alright, so I've got Ranger colors, the Tim Holtz Ranger, Cool Perry, Pink Sherbet, Salmon, Pool, Shell Pink, and then another one of the Pinata, the Jacquard Pinata colors, is Sunbright Yellow. So, I laid those on a paper towel just to make sure I didn't get little bits of ink on here. I actually already had to clean off a little bit. So I've already cleaned this, not that you can tell, when I was having to spray this. This is sealed, by the way. Let me go back to that. I use Rust-Oleum enamel on this, a gloss enamel. I would show you the can, but it's apparently upstairs somewhere. So, but it is just a Rust-Oleum gloss protectant enamel, I think is what it was called. I put several coats of it on this. I picked this up, for anybody who wants to know, at Hobby Lobby. They had them half price at the time. It was only $12.99 for this thing, so that was excellent in my opinion. And I am using my Revlon brand hair dryer, which apparently these are back in stock now on Amazon. So I would recommend this one over the other that I had reviewed for you all, simply because the airflow is not quite as high on the cool setting. And that's what you want. The lower your airflow, the better, even though it is kind of a high airflow even on this. Got it setting on that just so I won't scratch my surface, hopefully, when I pick it up, lay it down. All right, so, well, I am going to get started on this, and we'll see what we can come up with, and hopefully I won't muck this up too bad. Okay, I have to interject here for just a second and apologize because there's a large section of this that you all have missed. I took a break for a few minutes and came back and thought that I had hit the, well, I know I did. I know I touched it to, start the video recording again, and I don't know if I just like double tapped it and turned it right back off or didn't hit it hard enough or what I did, but I didn't realize until I went to take another break and, reached up to stop the recording that nothing was recording. So I apologize that y'all missed this big section in the middle right here, but it was pretty much exactly the same as the first section and exactly the same as this part I'm getting ready to finish now on the end. So that being said, I will get back to it, and this time I'll do my best to make sure I hit the record button. Okay, so I got my second, or finished my first, you all didn't even see that, and then got the second coat of paint on this. I didn't figure there was any reason to keep on torturing you all with that. So, they've been sitting overnight, about actually close to 24 hours now, so it is time to take a peek at the, the thing under here. The actual painting part that I poured the resin on, because it ended up actually having over 24 hours to cure, so, because I was using it as a table. So, here we go. I have been absolutely dying to see what this looks like. If I can figure out where I taped it off. Good grief. Apparently I taped it better than I realized. Can't even get it loose. We might get there today. Okay, so I was trying to save my sheet of this parchment paper because I am going to have to put another, well, I wouldn't have to, but I am going to put another layer of resin on this after I put Myla's name on, just to finish everything off and go ahead and get the letters, give them that glossy look too. I'll pour the resin over top of the letters. I gotta remember to leave myself some tabs or something to get that pulled loose though. Alright, oh yeah. I am very happy with it. Very happy with it. I can't move it around too awful much for you all. I've got like books underneath it, but I think you can see it good enough anyway. Lift up part of it. And it's still attached to some parchment paper where I put it underneath it just in case I had any trouble with the resin running out any of the cracks along here. Even though I had sealed it up, you just never know when you're going to get that little spot. So, well, I am super happy with that. Let's see. Now here comes the true test, because I honestly don't know if it's going to fit. And oh my God, I'm going to be sick. I'm gonna be sick. It is not going to fit. How that is possible, I don't know. Okay. And I don't even have any kind of saw here that I might be able to do some creative cutting with. Okay, as you can see, I apparently did some sort of, I don't know if I misunderstood on the website when I ordered the name, or if I measured incorrectly somehow, although, I mean, how hard is it to measure from, you know, here to here, which I did, measured the inside, but anyway, the name is too big. Well, her first name, Myla's first name is too big. Her middle name, Ray, fits perfect. So, I had to try to figure out what on earth to do, because, you know, it was not going to look very good at all. Just, you know, I don't know. Couldn't figure it out. Thought about just filling up the whole base with resin and just, you know, sticking the name down on top of it. But then got to thinking about how heavy that was going to be. And this is going to be hanging on the wall above her crib. So I do not want any risk of something falling off onto her. So after a couple of days of beating my head against the wall, My husband had a really good idea. He said, well, why don't you get some dowel rods and cut them down and just, you know, attach them to the back and then have it raised up like 3D up above. And I said, oh, that is a really good idea. And then I started thinking, well, they make, you know, the clear acrylic rods. Well, I didn't have any way to cut them. I mean, I could have bought a saw or something, but no, I decided to take the much more complicated route. Instead, I used these little molds for resin pendants. It just makes a little tiny round cylinder, because that way they would be clear. You wouldn't be able to see them. Well, wouldn't be able to see them very much underneath the name. I thought, you know, I need to pour another layer of resin on this anyway. And so I was thinking, well, that'll be perfect because I can put them in it and that will hold the little cylinders in. And then I started thinking, okay, so how can I attach it to the wood? Well, I could use something like E6000 glue or liquid nails or something like that, but I didn't know how well they would bond to the resin once it was set up. I had no idea. And this is, while it's not like really heavy, there is a little bit of weight to it. So, I mean, it's cut out of 1/2-inch birch plywood. So it is, you know, it's got a little bit of weight to it. Once again, didn't want to worry about anything falling on her. So here was my solution for that. I'm trying to find one that's fairly straight. I ended up with a whole lot of them really crooked. So there was my solution to that. I put wood screws in the mold with the resin. I tied a string around it. I'll show you one that messed up because it came untaped. I taped the strings down to keep them from falling into the resin. This one didn't work. But you'll see I tied a string around the pointy end and, you know, just taped it off. Use better tape than I did if you ever have to do this. But I hope you never do, because this has literally taken me days to get the stuff that I needed to get it fixed. It has been ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. So anyway, now I have these little things that I can screw into the wood, and I'll rough up the backside with a little bit of sandpaper before I do it. But I'll screw these into the wood in various points underneath her name, and that way it will be raised up to somewhere around, you all probably can't tell, but it'll be about that high above the board, be standing out sort of 3D, and I won't have to worry about it falling off on her because it's going to be screwed in to the wood. So I made several of those. I'm ready to put them on there, and I am just hoping and praying that I have no more disasters go on with this. And I also noticed in the process of all this other stuff, I somehow had scuffed this right here, the white paint that I went over it with, and it's yellowish cream color sort of underneath. So I have to try and figure out a way to fix that. So, all right, well, I'm going to go back to speeding this up. You know, actually may just even skip this next part because you all don't really need to see me do it. I'm just going to, you know, I'm just going to put this in. I may have to get a little something to get a hole started, but I'm just going to screw it in just like a screw up to the edge of the resin and get it in there, you know, screw it down as tight as I can, just in a few places or several places on her name, on both sections of her name. I'm not just doing the first, but I'll do both parts of her name. And then I'll just come back to y'all after I get that part done, so you don't have to watch me screw all those in, trying to figure out where I want them. All right, so I'll be back somewhere. I'll be somewhere shortly. I'll be back with you all soon. Okay, I am ready to pour the resin on this. I got the little my little tabs, I don't know what to call them, got them affixed to the back of the letters, and I probably should have painted the back of those letters because I didn't know I was going to have them raised up, reflecting off of resin, and this has been just one mess after another. But anyway, hopefully it'll turn out decent in the end. I can't stop now because I've already got my resin mixed up. Yeah, got these screwed in on both pieces of her name, and I realized right as I was getting ready to start the recording that I had forgotten that I wanted to show you all the back of them, you know, how I'd put those screws in, and completely forgot about the fact that I needed to position them on here. I was going to just take some like liquid diamonds or something and stick it down with that and let it dry for an hour or so before I poured the resin, just so I could make sure I had it exactly where I wanted it. And yeah, I forgot to do that, and now I've got this big huge cup of resin and I'm not wasting it. So I really hope that I can get this on there straight, as I kid you not when I say it has just been one mess after another with this thing, and I don't know why. It's just been bad luck after bad luck after bad luck, and you know, some of it's probably just been me not being slow and careful enough with things, but it does seem like I have just had a terrible amount of bad luck that you all just don't even know about all of it. I'm not even going to bore you with it right now. Alright, so the other half of her name, and my mind is blanked out. Alright, so I wiped all this down good with some alcohol and let it dry, and I was trying to decide whether to put her name on first. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the name on first. That can sit a few more minutes, it'll be fine. I don't think that the name will shift when I pour the resin. I think it's heavy enough to hold itself down. At least I hope so. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but I did kind of rough up the ends of the things there just to make sure that the resin could get a good grip on it. And I actually probably should have done a light sanding on that, but I did not. And once again, yeah, I'm so over this right now. I was so excited to get started on this, but it has just been a catastrophe, and I don't know why. Just one of those things, I guess. You just have those times when it seems like nothing goes right, or those certain projects, you know, where just absolutely nothing goes right. Let's see. Gotta look down from the end over here, trying to make sure I've got it in there straight. I can't even really measure this to make sure that I've got it in there straight, because it's the letters are, every one of them pretty much is a different height. A different height, a different size. It's like the Y is lower than the A, and I love this script, but that kind of makes it annoying fitting it into the board. Let's see. And then I have to have it up. Oh, wait a minute. No. See, I almost did it again, y'all. Okay, so that's backwards, I think. Yep. The hangers, I think, are on this side. Make sure. I'm trying to feel up under there to see where the hangers are. Yep. They're on this side. The hangers are here. So, man. Tell you what, I don't know what's going on. So now I got to start over again with this and get it straight. I feel like if I do it directly in the center, it's not going to look right. Just because the Y, it's already going to be down lower than what the L is. And if I do it directly in the center, I think it's going to be too much lower. than the L is, but I don't know. It'll be what it'll be. And at least Myla will be too little to even realize there's anything wrong with it for a while. Although our daughter will realize it. Sorry, I am still here. I just keep coming off to the side and looking down the length to try to make sure that I've got it fairly straight. You know, I don't want one name going at an angle and the other name not. Which I actually kind of feel like I have anyway. This is why I really should have done this before I turned the video back on. So you all didn't have to put up with this. Get around the other side of my table good to see. We've got boxes and junk packed up there. We are moving back to North Carolina, and I cannot tell you how happy I am. We will be leaving Washington somewhere around the last week in June, 1st of July, somewhere in there, and I am thrilled. We won't get back to North Carolina in time for Myla's birth, but she should not be over a month or so old when we get there, so she can get to know her Mimi really quickly, I hope. And we will have to come back to Washington next year, but only for about 6 months. Okay, I feel like I'm just being really nitpicky about this now that I'm being silly. See, I wish that you all could tell me if I could zoom out enough to where you could see the whole thing, and then you all could say, no, move this one up and move that one down, or, you know. So, I don't like to rely on myself for certain things, and this is one of those things. What's this? I'm having trouble feeling like both pieces are pretty even. Alright, I think that's good. I hope. Let's pour it. I mean, not touch anything else, because if I do, I'll probably just mess something up more. Now, alright, this is art resin. Yes, I should be wearing my respirator, but I'm not going to. This is not going to require a really long time, and with my allergy troubles, I know this is going to sound like some kind of oxymoron here, but I'm having trouble breathing, so I'm not going to wear my respirator. My allergies get so bad that I actually have to use Flovent and a rescue inhaler, an albuterol inhaler too sometimes. So yeah, it's just putting a respirator on my face right now is just more than I could stand the thought of. And because this is art resin, which has no VOCs in it, or so they say, I don't mind as much to go without a respirator some. Which is one reason that I use it. I just, for me, feel like it's a safer option than some that actually say, yeah, you better use a respirator if you're going to use this. So I'm wondering if I should have mixed up a little more than 16 ounces. Because I really wanted this to be fairly deep in there. Probably should have put the resin in first and then put the name down. Another stupid mistake on my part. In fact, I think I'm going to lift up the names just so I can get the little tabbies down in the, you know, so that the resin is on the bottom of them too, not just on the sides. I will be so glad when this thing is done. But at least I don't have to ship it to North Carolina now. I can just take it with me. I can't imagine how much it would end up costing to ship this. And getting it there in one piece would probably never happen with all of the mess that has gone on with this thing. And I can't find my spreader that I was using before. Another one of those weird, mysterious, something's gone missing things. Because it should have been laying on one of my shelves there where I keep resin supplies, but it was not. And I've hunted and hunted and I couldn't find it, so I just have this spatula that I'm going to use. Excuse me. It's not from the resin, but it's from my allergies. I cough quite a bit when my allergies get going really good. Cough and wheeze, snore. My poor husband can't sleep when my allergies are bothering me. That was I know some of y'all are laughing now about this because like, well, I just wasted 10 minutes of time getting it all perfect and then I picked it up. And I can't even just set it aside because it actually does have some resin on the bottom of some of it. Can't even just set it down out of the way for a minute. This is not as good for getting the resin into the little corners and edges as the scraper is, or the little paint spreader thing is, but it'll do. Just plop it down there for a minute while I spread out the rest over here. That one doesn't have any on it yet. I don't have to be as careful where I'm holding it at. I didn't want that the other one to drip off in the floor or on the edge of the frame or something. I have to get my hands in there to get this to spread good. I'm sorry if this has been a really long, boring video for you all. I don't know how long it'll be yet since I haven't stitched everything together yet, all these little different bits and pieces where I come work for a few minutes and then, you know, stop. But I'm sure that I will be speeding up quite a bit of this because there's really no reason for y'all to watch it all. There really wasn't much reason for y'all to watch this part, probably. Heat gun here for just a second. Pop a few bubbles and I'll still got some spots I didn't get the resin in too good. Sorry. I hit you all with a Myla. I don't even know if y'all can see when I'm working over here on the end. But I've got my camera zoomed out as far as it will go. And I could have raised up the tripod a little bit, and then I just completely forgot. Completely forgot to raise it up. Alright. See, it's another case where I wish you all could say, oh look, you missed a spot right there. As I actually do that when I'm watching other people's videos. I don't do resin very often. Actually, I haven't done resin in a long time. Other than the one video that you all saw me do with the alcohol inks and the resin. I haven't done resin in a long time. Other than just to, you know, coat my paintings. And I had just started doing a little bit of resin when I discovered alcohol inks. That was how I discovered alcohol inks, was looking up videos on resin and ran across one where someone was resining an alcohol ink painting. Now that one, they didn't show how they had done the painting. I just smeared resin all over the frame. They didn't show how they had done the painting, but as soon as I saw that painting, I knew that that was something I was going to learn to do. And so I actually started looking up videos on it and found out there were sadly few out there where they would tell you what they were doing. There were some, that not everyone just sped through. There were a few people who you know, would explain what they were doing, and there's some really good videos that were out there, but they didn't explain. They didn't necessarily speed it up all that much, and they would put words on the screen about, you know, what colors they used and the alcohol. So with just the few I was finding, it was very frustrating, and I think it was for a lot of people, because as soon as I started posting some pictures, when I finally got started painting, got brave enough to post anything on Facebook, I immediately started getting just bombarded with questions and people wanting to know how I did that and did I have any videos. And that was sort of how my channel was born. Just from, you know, knowing how frustrating it was for me when I was, and I still, even when I started making videos, I needed more practice and more training, but, oh, I just jumped in and did it. I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but among the things that have gone missing, my level has gone missing. And go figure. I have no idea why my level has gone missing. But I can't find it anywhere. And so there wasn't a whole lot that I could do. I tried to check it with my phone. You know, or the little level thing on an iPhone. And it looked pretty close to right, but seems to me the resin's mostly running in one direction. Although I think after this, once this one sets up a little bit, I think I am going to go ahead and probably pour another layer of resin in it. I just, that just barely covered the bottom. So I'm not comfortable with how much is holding those letters down. Sorry, I'm back to peering down the name again, trying to make sure everything is fairly right. At least I did try to sort of take notice to how close certain things were to certain parts. Try to keep it close to right. Alright, I'm going to hit this with the heat gun one more time. Still see a few bubbles popping up in there. I could use my torch, but don't want to risk accidentally singeing anything. My torch is about out of gas. Fuel, it's just a little butane torch. Benzomatic. Not that you can actually see the name on it anymore, but that's what it is. Benzomatic. I like it. It's got a little thing you can lock on it for continuous. And it's got a safety feature on it to where you have to slide the button down to make it, to push this button in to ignite it. Although mine got jammed up a while back with resin, so it doesn't, it stays in the unlocked position all the time. But the girls are old enough to know that they're going to get their heads skint if they start messing with that, so don't worry about that too much. They might take a lot of my art supplies for personal use, but they have been really, really good about if I say, you know, that's dangerous, you can't play with that, you can't use it, they don't. They don't mess with it. They are some awesome kids. And so is our grandson Brennan. He is another fantastic kid. Brennan, he wants to be a geologist as soon as he, you know, gets done with his Major League Baseball career that he's going to have one of these days. He has had a fascination with rocks since forever. I mean, since he was a baby. And he started going to daycare, I think, when he was around 2. And he would come home with rocks in his pockets every day. And every single day, rocks in his pockets, because he was just fascinated with rocks. And somewhere around the age of 3, he learned what a geologist was, and that's what he has been saying ever since, was he wants to be a geologist. He's got himself a great little mineral and fossil specimen collection going in his room. His mom had to buy him a whole like cabinet thing just to hold his rocks in. Alright, well, I think that is good. I am going to cover this up and let it sit, and probably come back tomorrow and put another coat of resin over top of it. And sorry, I see a fuzz. There's just no keeping the fuzz out, I swear, no matter what I do. Need some kind of airtight sealed room. I mean, we use like the HEPA filters in the house because of my allergies, but it sure doesn't seem like it gets much of the dust. So, alright, there you go for now. I'm gonna cover it up, and I will be back. Probably won't make y'all watch the next layer of resin because it's gonna look exactly like this. So I'll be back when I get done, show you all the finished product of it. So I'll be back shortly. All right, this is the finished product. I tried to back up my phone enough that you all could see at least most of it, I hope. Anyway, so I ended up putting 3 layers of resin on this. Cleaned it already, it's a little dusty. I set it out in the garage after it dried good, but okay. Ended up putting 3 layers of resin on it because I just wasn't comfortable with how much of my little odd screw things that I made were covered. Can you all see? I can't really tell because my camera or phone is at such a weird angle. I can't even see it good, so there we go. See how I just put them up under there? I just screwed them into the back side of the letters and then just stood the name up on there and poured the resin and made sure that it did not move. I kept a very close eye on it for a while, trying to make sure that it didn't shift, you know, that this couldn't move. Now what I could have done and probably should have done was just tack the little things down in there with like some liquid diamonds or, you know, anything that would have held it down, that would have been clear and not shown up, but I didn't do that and I got lucky and nothing moved. So alright, well I hope y'all enjoyed this. I know there wasn't much technical stuff or much of a tutorial about it, but you know, this again, it just gives you some sort of idea of things that you can do with your alcohol inks other than just, you know, a straight up wispy painting, or you know, or things you can do with a painting, since that's what I did, was just painted directly on this. Things that you can do that will really have some sort of a wow factor to them. I am in love with this. Our daughter is absolutely thrilled. She just thinks it is gorgeous and cannot wait to get it hung up in the baby's room. So I'm super excited to get it home to her. Although I'm more excited to get us home so we can see and meet Myla, who has not come yet, but she is due anytime now. So we just keep, I don't go anywhere without my phone right now because I'm waiting for the call that they've gone to the hospital. All right, I think that's it. This has been such a long process that I keep worrying that I'm, you know, forgetting to tell you all something, or I've told you the same thing 3 or 4 times, because I had to do this in so many segments over such a long period of time. It's taken me a month, I guess, about a month to get this done. So it's been a while. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and you know, come back again. Feel free to share any of my videos that you'd like, you know, people who would be interested in it. I'm always happy to have people share my videos. Give me a like on the video, subscribe if you're not, if you'd like to, you know, be notified when I do post new content, because I do have a very irregular schedule. You know, make sure you hit the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you whenever I do upload a new video. All right, well, I hope all of you have a great day. I love all of you, and I will be back just as soon as I can.